It's 3:30 in the morning, and I could not sleep. So I got up, figured I'd make this video. We're gonna get out of the office here really quickly. I want to go for a walk on the property, and I want to share with you guys a whole bunch of stuff that is very, very personal, to give you a whole bunch of background information on us, and kind of give you some more understanding, help you understand what we're going through. So before we get up and leave, which we're going to do here just really momentarily, I want to go over some stuff about me that you need to understand. It's going to be uncomfortable for some of you, so you could click forward to it to see the walk if you like. But I'm going to talk a little bit about my faith, not in a preachy way, but in I'm a human being and you need to understand me kind of way so you can understand the story. Again, it won't be preachy. I think it's probably about time that I actually share explicitly kind of what's going on in the background here, what this whole thing is all about, and quite honestly, why I can't sleep. It's really scary because people can take it so many different ways, but I figured those that care, you need to know, and those that just want to be mad and mean at me, they're going to do that no matter what I say. I'm here on mission because of my faith. I believe that. I believe I have a job to do, and it's not collection of wealth. That's really important that you understand that before we ever get going. You need to understand where I'm coming from, and that's why I'm sharing this first part of this video with you. You need to understand where I'm coming from. I'm not going to be boasting about what I'm sharing. I'm sharing it with you so you understand the story, so you understand how I see that we've been blessed, and why I can't sleep at night because of the things that we could lose. So let's go on a walk. So I've been basically a traveler, a nomad for most of my life. Never spending really, my adult life that is, never really spending more than 2 to 4 years in one place. College or Air Force or what it may be. So I've always really wanted to set down roots someplace. And we've been here now. Boy, what has it been? 9 years. I've been here 8 years with my wife. And it feels good to have some place that is your place, you know, the place that you go. It was about 12 years ago. I went to Ben here. I would be in Baghdad. And I was with the Air Force. I'm former Air Force. And I was deployed with the 18th Airborne Corps. Rangers lead the way, but Jesus is the way. Love you guys. It's a great experience, but I heard God telling me, you got to go home. You got to leave the Air Force. And I love the Air Force. And so I took a leap of faith. I left the Air Force. I had no job set up, nothing. That was the second time I've taken a leap of faith like that in my life. The first time I took a leap of faith is when I actually was going to college. I remember the day still. I had applied to college, and I'm not the world's smartest person. In fact, I partied a little too much in community college, made some bad decisions that I still regret. And you could say that my grades were not really above average. In fact, they were below average. So it was a godly miracle that I even got into college in the first place, university. And I remember the day I was at work, and I got the phone call from the admin council or office. And they said, hey, congratulations, you've been accepted. And it was awesome. It was the #1 aerospace engineering school in the country, and #1 ROTC detachment in the country. I was going to be in the Air Force. And I remember calling my grandpa. I was so excited, and he almost burst into tears when he was on the phone. It was such a great day. But in order to do that, I had to take a huge leap of faith. I remember going into my job. They actually called me in the office, and they said, hey, we want to talk to you. And I said, what's up? And they're like, well, we want to promote you to this big, level up at this corporate office and do some cool stuff. I was really young, and it was a great honor to be able to be offered that type of job. And I remember telling him, well, I got some bad news for you. I'm going to be leaving. I quit. Here's my 2-week notice. I'm going back to school. I took a huge step backwards in pay, and I ended up giving up the life that I had and the people that I loved, the relationships I had, and left and went to university. So that was the first time. I love the Air Force, and leaving was one of the hardest things I ever had to do, taking that second leap of faith. But that leap of faith was definitely God inspired, because 6 months after I got home, again, no job set up, my dad was diagnosed with terminal cancer. I remember coming down this very road with my then girlfriend, Alicia, who is now my wife. And we're really serious, and we're driving down here looking for a home to buy together. And we're coming here, we're driving in the truck, she's next to me, looking beautiful. And we start coming around the corner here, and we see this starting to poke out in that shot. And we're driving up here, we didn't own it, so this wasn't our driveway. You're not really supposed to do that. That's not very nice to drive on people's driveway without them knowing. But it was really special coming up here and seeing this. And then we poke around the corner and we see the house for the first time. It was just fantastic. We both said, whoa, this place is super special and is not something that's just for us. We knew it right off the bat. You ever know those things where it's just the one? It's all supposed to work out. We saw the house up there like that. We knew that something important was going to happen here, something special. It wasn't just for us. This is a place that God is blessing us with, that we're going to end up sharing with a lot of people, our family, our friends. I remember my dad was doing chemo and I was there at his bedside. We hadn't bought this place yet. He was too sick to move. So I took a bunch of pictures and shared it with him. He loved it. To say this would have been his type of place is an understatement. That fence line is our property. About 20 acres, a little over. This is a really special place to us, and I'm sharing it with you guys. This place is absolutely beautiful. It's a gift from God. And not a day goes by that I don't remember that. I don't deserve it. I'm blessed to have it. And it takes a lot to be in a place like this, to live so far away. There's a lot to do. And you know, the more you work on a place, the more you're there, the more things you do, the more that place becomes a part of who you are. And that becomes very special. Let me show you some of the things I'm talking about. When we first bought this place, there was a house, a barn, and 2 sheds. So everything I'm about to show you is work that we did, or I did specifically. Lots of labor. There was a bunch of rock piles all over the place, just spread throughout here on the property. And I bartered with the guy, and we got all the big rocks moved here, and we created this roundabout. Someday we want to turn it into a water feature, but Old Glory's flying right here, and it's a nice special thing that we've put in place. When we first moved in, there was no yard. We built all of this, and I rented a ditch digger and put in a sprinkler system myself. My wife and I, we built the flower bed. It's all growing up, and we keep adding more to it every year that we can afford. It's starting to look really pretty in the spring. It's beautiful. Speaking of spring, the robin showed up, so I think winter is over and spring is here. There was no fence when we moved in. Every fence post hole I've dug with the tractor, put in the post myself, set each one of them, ran every cable, and we have a lot of fence. I've spent about 4 years duration working on fence, buying the pieces, extending it, putting the cross fencing in, and we still have more cross fencing to do. But there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in that. All of those things go into fencing. It's one of the worst things you have to do when you own a ranch. You see that mountain obviously right there, and then the hill right below it that's in frame. That's not our property, but the owner at the time allowed Alicia and I to go over there, and one February 2nd, I got down on my knee in the snow and had a bottle of champagne stashed up there with a ring and proposed to my now beautiful wife. And then 6 months later in June, we got married right up on that hill. We call it Love Hill. It's a special place for us. And where you're standing is actually the place where we had the reception right here. I remember bringing all the sod in to build the yard back here, so it was all pretty. I broke the suspension on the trailer doing that, overloaded it. Speaking of memories, that was a fun reception. I had family and friends from all over the place there, and my favorite food, I love shrimp. That was my appetizer choice. And we had tons of it. And my favorite beer, we had a keg of it. And I was so looking forward to it. But a wedding, when you're getting married, you don't get any time to do that stuff. I had one thing of shrimp and I had 1 pint of beer. We need to do that again. I need to make up for that. After my dad died, my family and I, we've gotten together here at the ranch every year. And one of those years, it's like one of the most exciting times of the year for Alicia and I. We look forward to it every year, about a week-long family reunion that we do here, and it is fun. Just great family. And one year I decided, you know what, I'm going to put in a pool. And we couldn't afford to put an in-ground pool, so what I did is I found some materials on Craigslist, bought this pool. I call it my redneck infinity pool. And it's been the highlight of the reunion. We come out here, it's nice and hot, we all jump in the pool, have a good time. In fact, good memories, 2 of my cousins have actually been baptized in this very pool. When we first moved in, I've made quite a few improvements inside. I have redone the master bathroom, we've redone the kitchen, I put in new floors, and one of the things I did, I learned the hard way how expensive it is to heat a house using propane through a propane stove. Oh, that's a whole nother video's worth of stories there. So anyway, I also put in a wood stove myself, and that was awesome. I didn't do the roof part, I did put the stove in, and all the tiling that goes with that. And we used to pile the wood up alongside the house, and we use T-posts and plastic tarps to keep it all dry. And let me tell you, when there's 4 feet of snow on top of a plastic tarp, it's no fun to go out and get wood. So I finally built this. First time I've ever built a woodshed, put it all together, designed it myself, poured the slab myself, had a cement truck come up. It has some imperfections in it, but most of the stuff that I've done has imperfections because I'm not a pro. And I'm still really happy with this, and it's great listening to the rain hit the tin roof. Another major project that I've done is I excavated this area, leveled it all out, moved a bunch of rock in for the downhill slope, and put in a garden. Last year, we moved all the stuff from Hab 1. You can check out the videos on Hab 1 and the eventual destruction of it, and move those parts up here, and now we have these raised beds. Beautiful garden, looks really amazing. You can't really tell right now because it's winter, but this last summer it was beautiful, and then this summer we're really excited about what we can get out of this garden. Something special about this garden that not many people know is that this arch was made by my father-in-law, and it's what Alicia and I got married underneath. Have you ever wanted a shop? I always have, and now we have one. Let me take you inside. Okay, here we go. There it is in all of its fantastic messy glory. It's not just a shop, it's also our barn where we have our animals, Darla and Daisy. Daisy's the mama. And then we have our horses. This horse is Snips. She's pretty. Quarter horse. And then we have Beauty the mule and Echo, quarter horse Arabian. Snips and Beauty are from my dad. And they came with me when he passed away. And then this section of the shop over here, I actually built the upper side. The pole barn was here, and then I put the roof in and the upstairs. Now my neighbor and I, we're going to be doing a major upgrade on this because as you can see, it's messy and it's been good enough for what we've been doing up to this point, but it needs a major overhaul. So stay tuned for some major updates on that. When we first got married, my wife hadn't been riding hardly at all in her life. So one of the things we needed to do is have a practice corral to come out and ride in safely, not be out on the trailer or anything. So before and after work for about a week, I did the project from hell. That's what we called it. All the posts I dug and put in all the boards. And then ever since we really started this project of ours, neither one of us been able to ride. So the animals are having more fun knocking down all the cross members than we're actually getting used. So I need to come out here this year and clean this all up. But we actually did some riding in here in family reunions, had small kids up on the horses. There's good memories here. 16.5 kilowatts of pure solar power. My wife and I hosted a work party one weekend. We had family and friends, neighbors came over, and we busted this thing out. And it's awesome. The whole ranch runs off of solar. It's grid tied, which means the grid is our battery. But we had really good food, a really good time. And it's nice knowing that our power comes from the sun, and it gives us that more independence feeling. You know, we don't depend on everything else. Now, it is grid tied, so we're not fully off yet, but we're closer. So this is a pretty special place. We've never shared it with anyone before, but this is the back corner of our property, and it's wooded. It's very quiet. In the summer, there's a lot more birds, woodpeckers, critters out here, and the smell of pine and Doug fir and the heat all mixes together and makes just a wonderful, beautiful, peace, joy-filling smell. And it's just a pleasure to be able to come out here and just walk, just be present. So this is our home. This is our ranch. I've been fortunate enough to have been given opportunities in my life and to work hard for them, I might add, to where I could have a job that actually could afford us the ability to even buy this place and be able to do the things that you've seen, the projects that we've been working on. So I'm really, really grateful for God and everyone in my life, my parents and everyone who's made that possible. I couldn't have done it on my own. There's just no way. So you'd think after getting a place like this and having this, you do everything possible to keep it. And while I hope that's the case, my wife and I have actually made the decision to risk all of this. All of it. We're putting it all on the line. We decided to leave my job of 10 years that gave this nice, comfortable paycheck, and we're living on savings right now while we chase a dream. I hope you can see there's a lot more here than just stuff and beauty. There's memories, there's experiences, there's joys and trials and tribulations, there's experience, there's life that's here, and it's been a joy. And to put that all on the line really means something. This will be the third time in my life that I've decided to risk everything. We've already talked about going to college, we've talked about leaving the Air Force, and now leaving my job to fight for something that we believe in, to go after a dream, to do a startup, is the third time that I'll be putting it all on the line. Well, on the other side of the solar panels, you'll see the big white thing. That's a 53-foot trailer. It's eventually going to be what we call LifePod 2, which is the second iteration of the build that we've been doing that contains a system that we call the Genesis system. The Genesis system overall, which is a system of components, different things working together, is designed to provide sustainable food and energy to local communities and families. That unit behind me is going to feed up to 4 adults every day, up to 2,200 calories per day, and it'll be producing all of its own energy as it does it. So it'll take care of itself, fully self-sustaining. I've been working the math for a long time on this, folks. This is not something that we've just jumped in, and I do not recommend anyone just go throw caution to the wind and jump in. That is not who I am. There was a lot of thinking, lots of risk analysis to figure this stuff out, and a lot of engineering and detailed work to make sure that this thing would all work. And we've done everything we possibly can on analysis, and it all says it works. We've also done our first prototype, which you could go watch in the Habitat 1 playlist on our YouTube channel. We believe in this solution so much that we're willing to risk everything that I've shared with you here today in order to go after it. It's not every day someone comes in and tells the entire world things that they're not good at, but there's some things you need to know about me that really make this story more interesting. First, I'm not a fabricator. I'm not pretending to be a professional fabricator or welder or cutter or anything. I'm a jack of all trades, if you will, and master of none. I've been exposed to a lot of different things. But even on fabrication, oh my goodness, measuring, I am so bad at it. I swear my brain just turns off as soon as a tape measure comes out of the reel. While I am an aerospace engineer by degree, I had to work harder than everybody in college to get that degree. While everyone was out having a good time, I was in the library studying because it didn't come to me naturally. I wasn't super smart. I just worked really, really hard and studied. I had said, I'm going to do this. In fact, I remember I hated math. When you're an engineer, you got to do math. And I had to change my head so that I enjoyed it. I'm never going to come down on someone for not being perfect, because I am not perfect. I am not a saint. I am not the world's best Christian, and I'm not allowed to go and give people like, shame on you, because I can, you point one finger at someone, you got 3 pointing back at you, right? I know that. But I will tell you this. I'm not fake. What you see is what you get, whether I'm here on YouTube or in person. I am not a fake person. But what I am is pretty normal. I'd say average, maybe slightly above average in some places, but in general, I'm across the bar average. And you might be wondering, why in the world would someone risk everything that they have if they're just average and they don't have all this stuff figured out? They're not a professional, they're not an expert. Why would you do that? Well, there's some things you do need to know about me in addition to the things I'm not good at that I believe in. I believe you don't need to be an expert to do something. And I've seen that trend more and more these days. People think you have to be an expert to do anything. Like they don't even want to get out of bed if they are not an expert at it. I believe that everybody, and I mean everybody, is capable of doing amazing things if they want to. I believe that God has given every one of us some form of a gift. Now it's up to us to decide how we use it. Do we use it for His glory or for our own? I remember when I was younger, I was told, you seem like the type of guy that if he puts his mind to something, you can do it. And I remember lately I brought that up to someone, and then their response was laughing, and they're like, and you believed him? And the answer is yes, I did. I did believe him, and I still do believe him, and I want you to know, if you're a young person, that if you do set your mind to something, you can do it. I guess whether you're young or old, but especially talking to the young folks that get pressed down and told you can't do anything these days, you can. You can do it. If you want to, right here, you can. I absolutely, emphatically believe that hard work and perseverance, if you have those characteristics, you will go farther than people who are super smart or super rich. Those people might have certain parts of life easier, but you're going to have a better life because you can deal with adversity. I believe in doing over talking. A lot of people talk about doing stuff. A lot of people talk about chasing their dreams. I believe in doing it. I believe in taking risk. Too many people are playing it safe these days. And I mean, by safe, I mean they're not even living life anymore. They're just curled up in a ball in their little cocoon of safeness. They don't want to be touched. They need their pink room. They need the puppy dogs so they can feel good about themselves. But the world requires you to take risk if you're going to even step outside. And I believe fully in taking smart, decisive risks. You need to think about it first. You don't just rush in. But you do have to take risk. I believe in making mistakes. Failure is the greatest teacher. You need to go out there. You need to do things. You need to not be afraid to fail. And I failed a lot. Man, I feel like a failure in my life, for crying out loud. But look at everything I have. I should feel like I'm great. But no, I feel like I failed, like I'm not doing the right stuff because I've tried so many different things and they haven't worked. But I believe that's how you should do it. And I'm going to keep doing that because you've got to go out there and try and do and then learn and then do and then fail and then learn and do and fail and just keep doing that. And then eventually you win. It might be cliche, but I do believe that one person can make a difference in this world. You could be that person. This part might sound a little preachy, but hey, forgive me. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that without Jesus in my life, I should be in jail or dead. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be talking to you. There wouldn't be 30,000 people watching this video right now if it wasn't for him. That's a fact. If you played any sports in high school, I'm sure you can relate to this story. I remember last football game for the seniors. I was a sophomore, but I remember the speech clearly. Coach came in. Gym was dark. We're all in there, and he's, it's cliche, but again, for many of you, this is the last game you're ever going to play in your life. Leave it all on the field. No regrets. Don't ever look back and say, I didn't try hard enough. I didn't do enough. I didn't give it. If I would have just, woulda, coulda, what if? Leave it all on the field. Well, life doesn't have any great coaches that come along and give you that inspirational speech when you need to really try hard. And every day could be your last day. My dad taught me that. Out of the blue, all of a sudden he's going to die. Gone. Every day is a gift, and you need to live every day to the fullest. You cannot wait for a coach to come along and tell you, today is the championship day, today is your last day, today you've got to give it all. No, you've got to give it all every day, as hard as you can, and you've got to live a life so that you can look back when you're dying and say, I have no regrets. I left it all on the field every day. I did everything I could every day. That might mean that you're going to fail. It might mean you're going to go out there and you're going to get your butt kicked by a guy 3 times your size. But you're going to fight Goliath and you're going to give it everything you can. If you've never risked anything in your life, then what I'm talking about is crazy talk. And you probably never even made it this far in the video. You probably phased out. Like, this guy's nuts. What in the world would he risk this all for? For those that have, you know what this feels like. It's scary. It's stressful.
every day it's hard. You know, it's like, am I going to fail? What's in my way today? I mean, I'm a man of faith. That's why I shared that with you earlier, because my faith says you are not supposed to worry. The big guy's got your back. But I'm not a perfect Christian, like I said, and I do worry. I do worry that I messed up. I do worry that I'm going to look like a fool. I do worry that I've ruined my wife's life. I do worry that we're going to lose all these things. But then I have to remind myself, kind of like Noah when he was building the ark. You know, God told this guy, hey, go build an ark. He's like, why? It's not raining. God said, do it. He's like, all right. Could you imagine how many people made fun of him? Whether you believe or not, just put yourself in that situation. Guys building an ark out in the middle of nowhere. People come by and like, guys building an ark. You know, I mean, like, why are you building an ark? It hasn't rained in years. And he's like, the rain's coming. And they're like, you're an idiot. I mean, imagine the ridicule he was under. I get that. I get that a lot. And it's hard. So, but I have to step back when I'm at my weakest is when I step back and I'm on my knees, boom. I'm like, oh God, you know, and I have to remind myself, I do it all the time, like with the weather, which has been great. It's supposed to be snowing right now. Instead, it's like 45 degrees out here, but God's in control, not me. I just work here. He's the boss, and he knows what's best, and I'm doing his plan, and he'll let me know it as I need to know it. Not only have we put everything on the line, but there are a bunch of family and friends who have put in $80,000 total to this effort. And let me tell you, not a day goes by that I do not feel the weight of that. They believe in the project. They believe in Alicia and I and what we're doing. They believe in me. They've put their trust in me. Do you know how serious that is to have that type of trust given to you? I take that really seriously, and I do not want to let them down. On this project, I do everything. Requirements, design issues, analysis, creating drawings, fabrication, troubleshooting, communication, social media, YouTube, my goodness, finance models. There's not one thing that I'm not a part of. Now, lately, we've been getting some team members to help out with that. Thank you, Lord. So that I'm getting some of that offloaded, but that is so stressful, having all that stuff happen and be responsible for all those things. Things are actually working out. Things are going really, really well for what it is. They're just going slower than what I really hoped for. And that creates more stress because there's only so much money in the bank account, right? And you're just watching that every month go down in the spreadsheet. What that means is every time something goes wrong, every time I made a mistake, every time I measured wrong, oh my goodness, I hate measuring. I do not, I swear my brain does turn off. Every time there's a bump in the road, it takes up time. If I get hurt, we're dead. Everything has to work out here. Everything has to come together just right. And every time there's a problem, we lose time. And when you lose time, that is literally lost money for us. And you watch it go down in the bank account, and that is super stressful. If we don't get an investor, if we don't get people helping us, if YouTube fails, if any of this stuff goes wrong, we're done, we're toast. Now, you might be saying, just go get another job. Well, here where we live, there is no other job for me. It's a very unique situation. It's a whole story unto itself, but we would have to move. Or I'd have to be a geo-bachelor, and that's just not an option. I'm not going to leave my wife here to run all this. That's extremely selfish. So we would have to give it all up and move, sell it and move. And there's only so many months left before that is not just something I say, it's something that we will have to be doing. You may have figured this out by now, but the videos after this one and the ones before it are all behind real time. That's on purpose. We want to publish every Monday, Wednesday, Friday when we can take a lot of content. We're trying to get it all neck down for you guys. So there's more videos than there are days. And a lot of people have given us feedback. They don't like it when I post every single day. It's just too much content. So if you want to see what's happening more real time, be sure you join us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. That's where we're taking more up-to-date pictures. You can kind of see where we're at today, because every day we're trying to put stuff up there. If you see value in what we're doing, like real value, and you want to help out, there's two ways, well, really three ways monetarily that you can do that. One of them is Patreon, which is a monthly support, if you will. Like if everyone gave $1, it would really be great. The second way is a GoFundMe. All these links are down below, by the way. And the third way is send me an email if you want to actually invest. take on investors right now. I'll hand you the right people at Eat and Grow Systems. But investment is like over $1,000. So those are people who are really serious about wanting to help us out. All right, so some of these videos, again, because they're behind real time and because I hadn't done YouTube in so long, it's been like a year since I exercised my muscle, like I told you guys in a previous video. Some of the audio content and video, the lighting and all that, it's off. I know it's off, but hopefully now you can understand. I'm under a lot of pressure. It's not just about YouTube here. So that said, I've received all your feedback. In future videos, you'll see that the content will get better and better and better as I get that muscle back in shape again from where it used to be. I've also reached out for help with editing. We're going to be doing some gear updates so that we can have better lighting, better audio, all those types of things. So you will see improvements in our videos as we go along, so be patient. So I hope you've enjoyed the content on the Real Martian channel overall. You can go back and see that Habitat 1 playlist. I've moved everything there. And we have the LifePod 2 playlist. If you're new, you can see what we've done so far. I'll be honest, this video has been kind of very uncomfortable to make because I shared a lot of us stuff that is behind the scenes, stuff that is unique to my wife and I, very special memories, and stuff about my dad. I'm not an emotional person, but it's emotional for me to experience those things, and it's kind of very uncomfortable. So I hope you understand that I shared this so that you would understand us and what you're watching. You're not watching a channel where someone has a bunch of money and they're just doing stuff to put it on YouTube. We put our whole life into this. We put everything into it. There's nothing that's not impacted by our decision and our choices here. If you like that, if you like what you're seeing, be sure to subscribe. It really helps us out. Ring that bell so you get notified. Join us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and tell everybody you know about what we're doing and get them to do the same thing. That would be hugely helpful. If you don't want to help monetarily, just do that. Share it on your Facebook, share it on your Twitter, share our story, because it's going to be an interesting story. If you like reality TV, you should love this, because this is as real as it gets. There's no acting. You're getting a real guy, a real wife, doing real stuff, trying to really help people, and they've put everything they have on the line. Tune in next time. Major thanks to Wrangler Star. Without Wrangler Star and his family, we would not be here on YouTube. He set us up a long time ago. He's helped launch the site. He's helping us out again with the shop upgrades, and his whole family is just amazing. And I just wanted to say publicly thank you to all of you in the Wrangler Star family. You guys are awesome. It's so great having you as neighbors, not because of YouTube. That's a plus. That's a benefit. That's like icing on a cake. You guys are just good people, and it has been an honor to be your neighbors. So from Alicia and I, thank you. To all of our new subscribers, welcome to Mission Control. That's how I address all of you guys. Watch the movie The Martian, you'll understand why. To all of my subscribers that have been with us from the beginning, thank you very much. And to all my family and friends who have been with us forever, you guys are amazing. We love you. Everyone, be sure, go subscribe, get notified, hit that little bell. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, join us on those places. If you want to help out Patreon, you can go to GoFundMe or shoot me an email. All these links are down below in the description. There's also some cool swag that we're putting together. It's all part of helping us find ways to get revenue coming in, generate an income so we can keep doing this and see if this arc is going to float. I'm Jeff Raymond. You know me as The Real Martian. Out.